The next tool is called the Google Keyword Planner. The Google Keyword tool, as of now, is no longer available. It is now called the Google Keyword Planner. And it will require you to log in to your Gmail account. So if you don't have a Gmail account or a Google account, you'll need to create one. But if you have a Gmail account, it will work pretty much for Google services. Now, as you can see here, the Google Keyword Planner gives you a ton of data, and you can do a search for new keywords and add group ideas. So it'll basically give you some ideas of keyword phrases, how much competition each keyword phrase is getting, and also the add group keywords that a lot of people tend to use. So if we click on search for new keyword and add group ideas, you can enter your product or service or the keyword. So let's say we're going to stick with low cholesterol diet plan. And you can enter your landing page, you can select your product category. If you want to hone in on a specific category, you can do that. Let's say, for example, we're going to focus on health. And you can also specify targeting United States, English, Google, and negative keywords. So we know that from the Google Trends research that the United States is getting the most hits for that specific keyword. So that would be some good information to use for targeting. You can also do some keyword filters and keyword options. In this case, we're going to just click on Get Ideas, and we'll see what Google has to show us. So you can see add group ideas, which are groups of keywords that relate to one another, or you can get individual keyword ideas by clicking this tab here. Now, as you can see here, this is the main keyword search term. We can see the average monthly searches are about 1,000. The competition, however, is quite high. The suggested bid, or basically the Google AdWords. So if you're using this for Google AdWords, great. It tells you exactly how much a company is willing to bid for somebody just to click once. So for every click, average is about $2.15. So that's a good amount for a click. So we see other keywords, for example, low fat, low cholesterol diet plan, 70 average monthly searches, but it's a high competition. So even though it is low, that tells us that possibly there is a buying market that is willing to spend more money. Now, let's say, for example, that I want to do some keyword filters and filter so that I only get low and medium competition in terms of keyword phrases. So as you can see, we are able to see variations of the keywords in terms of the medium competition. And we can also see how much people are searching in Google and the suggested bid. And anytime you see a suggested bid, that tells you that if there are people that are willing to advertise in this specific market, there are people who are buying these types of products, which means that you could easily move in and sell the products that you're going to sell surrounding specific keyword terms. So that gives you a better idea that if you move into this market, you'll be able to more likely find people who want to buy your product. So that's a good sign. Now, the next site I want to talk about is Google Trends, and you can find it by going to google.com/trends. Now, Google Trends allows you to see basically the trends of a buyer market. You can see which keywords are rising, so that you can look into exactly which keywords you want to rank on. So if you go to the site and you type in a specific keyword term, let's say we'll stick with the low cholesterol diet, and you can actually see the interest over time. So as I can see here, it's actually decreasing. And that's specifically what I want to know. I want to know if a trend is decreasing, is it really worth getting into that market? Now, Google Trends is great for this because it tells you exactly the forecast as well. So if I click on forecast, you can see what its forecast is going to be. So they forecast it to go, it looks like it's just decreasing and decreasing and decreasing. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't a specific buying market in it. Maybe you need to switch the keyword term. So if we look down deeper, we can actually see the regional interest. The regional interest shows that the majority of people are in the United States, then South Africa, then Ireland, Australia, and so forth. And I like particularly the related searches because this gives me the exact keyword phrase that might be rising. So a specific keyword phrase that I'm thinking of might be decreasing, but you might be able to find a keyword term that is rising. So it tells us that, okay, well, low cholesterol diets may be decreasing, but high cholesterol foods, cholesterol diet plan, low cholesterol recipes are actually increasing. So even though we have found that a specific general keyword term is decreasing, doesn't always mean that it's decreasing. So Google Trends actually tells you what is increasing. So we can actually look further into cholesterol diet plans. So if we click on this here, this will give you more keywords that are related to cholesterol diet plans. So as you can see, it changes here, and we can see that in 2007 it wasn't as good, but it's increasing over time. So there are some dips, but there are some increases. So as we can see in the long term, at least this keyword, for example, would be increasing. So the keywords that are in our heads are not always proven to be increasing or decreasing. So that's why you really have to get down to the research itself so that you can see what is real and what is not. Now, one thing I like about Google Trends is that if you really want to dig deeper into a specific city that might be searching for the specific keyword, that way it gives you a better idea of when you can market to and who to target, basically. So if you go under regional interest, as you can see here, and I click specifically United States, you can see that the search volume seems to be really high in Georgia, and then Florida, Texas, New York, and California. So maybe I want to dig deeper and click on Georgia. Sometimes it'll show you results, sometimes it won't. But as you can see, it's deep into a city, and it tells me exactly which city has the most searches. So I could do a press release in that city or something like that. It gives me a better view of the long term in terms of marketing. So what I want to do in this specific video is just to give you a quick overview of different sites that you can use to get information on where different markets are heading in terms of technology, because this will give you an idea of how you can possibly improve your product. The first site is called ComScore Datamine. And data mining sites allow you to get some statistics, kind of like Google Keywords giving you statistics of keywords. But in this case, you can go here and you can see, for example, the French internet users. Let's say, for example, you want to go into the French internet user market. You can click on this and get some statistics on different websites and news sites and how they're doing. Obviously, not everything is going to apply to your specific market, but it's just really good data that you can get access to. This is Google Sites has the most engaged audience. You can learn a lot of stuff just by visiting and looking at and reading these articles. So I like to go here and just get some information about different statistics that might be applicable to my market. Another site is called Nielsen.com, and you can get a lot of other statistics like media and entertainment online in terms of advertising, social media, just the way people view things, and what technologies are doing really well. Like, for example, what are potential technologies that maybe I need to make sure that my product is compatible to, and things like that. And another site is called MMAglobal.com. This is a great place so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel, and especially if you're trying to market, you can find a lot of cool information on, for example, this right here says marketers currently allocate less than 1% of their marketing budget to mobile advertising, but there's an increase on average to about 7%. So you can see where the market is moving towards, and to ensure, for example, that your website is mobile friendly and things like that. So if you have an idea of where your market is heading towards, then you can plan ahead. Another site that I like to use is called InternetWorldStats.com. Now, the reason why is because you can get a lot of information about countries and so forth. And if you want to know, for example, how can you connect to other countries, then this is a great site to get this information. So, for example, Africa, this population here, this many internet users, and internet users' latest data, how fast it's growing, and you can also dig deeper as well. So you can actually see areas within Africa, just check your statistics to say, okay, let's say, for example, Algeria, we have in the foreign market, we want to reach that market, but we have an idea of how many internet users there are and how fast it's growing. Because you obviously don't want to go into an area that doesn't have a lot of internet users. So, for example, we find maybe this rural area doesn't fit with our product and doesn't really have a lot of people. So this is a great site to get some information about, just to double check the way that you're heading is the right way if you go into foreign markets and so forth. So all these are great sites just to take a look at, get some information, statistics that verify that you are headed in the right direction. Now, obviously, this will apply to some of you, and obviously it won't apply to some of you, but I wanted to make sure that I included all this information as much as possible to help you out and gear you towards the right direction.